Well, I think we will have a half an hour session today. I think perhaps we will have to have the meditation next week only. I think because of the problem in the laptop, we'll just have a half an hour. I think which anyway we will try to gainfully utilize. Om Shri Gurubhyo Parama Gurubhyo Srimad Ananda Tirtha Bhagavat Padacharyobhyo Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolaya Niyadi Prataya ज्ञानप्रताय विबुधा सूर सौख्य दुःख सत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीतमतिप्रबोधान् वादान् निरस्य कृतवान् भुविदत्ववादं सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तं आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवयं नमामि पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सहवीर्यं करवावहैः तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Friends, I think what we have seen, we are continuing the last mantra only with a little more elaboration. Basically, if we have seen, because the mantra, whatever we have seen, last week we have seen he is beyond the whatever the righteous qualities what we have. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat krita krita. Beyond the cause and effect. We saw that and all. So we gave a general meaning as to, because how he is beyond all these things and all. Basically, what happens is, because anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat in the sense, we know what we have to live ethically in this world. In spite of it, because whenever we do what is ethical to us, need not necessarily be ethical because there are a lot of cultural differences are there. And apart from that, because depending upon the area where they are living in, because if the people are living in a very, very remote and difficult areas, they for them, the righteousness is something different. In the sense, because they will have to live with whatever is available resources, gainfully using it. But the resource availability may not be everywhere and all. That's why, because we may find what we consider to be righteous somewhere else, we may finding, people will be following it, because without any sort of temerity about it. But look, because this is how we will have to live. Because supposing, you're a vegetarian, if you go to maybe, coastal area or somewhere, like West Bengal further and all. There, even the people, who are supposed to be not taking vegetarian, fish is not considered to be a vegetarian there. Because that is the culture, that is the availability. You cannot be holding on to your ethics, because there, that is how, they are living in Nanda. So when we are having all these things, why, because we will not be always distinguish and differentiate people based on the righteousness, what you hold and what the righteousness that is obtaining at a particular place. So is the adharmat in the sense whatever is not righteous, whatever is sort of a behavior which is not acceptable to the common way of living in the world. So that will be different in places to places. So in this context only, this mantra says, you don't think about all those things. Because as we have seen, we have got two choices. Whenever, the choice why we are praise and praise what we thought, what is good for us, and what is really pleasurable for us, what is delectable for us, what is desirable for us. We can exercise both and all. To that extent, you have a free choice. That free choice is being rather controlled and conditioned by whatever we have carried from our previous birth, and as well as whatever we have accumulated during the current birth also. So like our attitude, because like our values, what we have, because encompassed all this while, and how we have been going about, all these things come into play. When it comes to play, once you are exercising a free will, to that extent, you are able to identify that both will be, as I was pointing out, we were saying in our earlier discussion, both the shreyas and prayers, which is good and which is pleasurable, both will be knocking at the door simultaneously. When we are exercising, depending upon the time, mood, and as well as the frame of mind, emotions, we will be exercising something. So when we are exercising something, then what is there any no alternative? Yes, you have exercised. But the one, when you are not, because once you have done and, let me face, whatever comes, and don't, not anticipating, anything, what you would be looking for, because you have exercised, but you don't know whether you have exercised the right option. That is why when you don't look for anything, but you have still exercised, because based on whatever conditionalities you are in, what you are exercising in a particular moment, may not be same for everyone. Because what you may be doing, I may not be doing the same thing. Because my conditionalities will be different. But despite that, when we exercised, what is that? Why we what is we call adhyatma and all. Once you take that and leave it, because you leave it, because look, whatever comes, he is going to give it, and let me take it. Whatever the cosmos is going to give, whatever action, there will be a reaction from the world, or there will be a reaction from the person, or anything, whatever it happens, then you should be ready to face it. In the sense you accept it. The acceptance of anything that is happening out of the choices exercised by you at any point of time, that is basically adhyatma. In the sense, you are leaving it to him. And why we are leaving it to him, because why, because it's not only that when you are controlling the desires and all, when you exercise the option, won't say, because I could have exercised a better option. Maybe, because hindsight, I may think, I could have exercised. But then, at that point of time, I exercised. But then, whatever comes, I should be able to face it. I should not be, look, he has, I have not got the right idea. No one has told me, because you have exercised. That's all. What is the way? How to accept that? The accepting the result of our choice is Atma, Adhyatma. That is basically the thing. Because why, how to accept the resultants of the choice? They're not to expect any result. Whatever comes, supposing if you throw a stone on something else, you can expect, the reverberation from there. It will come. If you give a sound, in a sort of a mountainous region, the echo will be there. You should be able to listen, because it may not be palatable to your ears. You should be able to get it, and you take it, whatever comes out of that as a prasad. How you will be able to take the prasad? You get the refuge into him. You get the refuge into him. Vatam gudam anupravishtam Gathvarishtam and whatever we have seen and all, when you have gone into the internal path of your this one and all, you will be willing to accept whatever comes in the flow of your life. The flow is very important because whatever happens, because we don't have any moment to stand by and look into, analyze the things, because the life comes and we are taking it as it is, moment to moment. And when we are doing it based on whatever judgment and whatever the sort of a rationale, we could exercise, whatever the wisdom we get at that moment, we expect that. We exercise that. Based on that, whatever comes, we should be able to face and deal with it. Because even if it is not palatable, we will have to find a way out. There could be a course correction, or there may be, you will have to give up, certain activities. So but what happens is we are holding on to most of the things which are closer to our passion. That is how it happens, because we are not able to take a close sort of a course correction. Oh, this is not going to work out. Because assuming I don't have any aptitude to become a doctor. Somehow by quick of sort of fate as well as the circumstances, and I have been admitted into a medical college. So if I pursue without any interest and passion in that, neither I will be able to excel, nor the people who would be sort of getting the benefit from me will be suffering, because I will not be able to give the best out of mine. Once I know, this is what me, I should be able to exercise. I've exercised the free will based on, maybe the circumstances, the surroundings around me. I've exercised. So I should not have become a doctor, and I have come into this. When you should take a bold decision, look, this is not for me. Because I have got the passion in that, because I have got more interest in that, and I will be doing that. Because very often, we are not able to get that particular thing. We go with it, because it has got some assurance of a good life, in the forthcoming years. At that point of time, you are not able to do, because this is what most of it, even assuming when you are trying to have a passion also, the things are developing in such a way, you may not be up to the mark. But then, once you put your heart into that, soul into that, once you are accepting whatever comes in there, you will be able to really do, because you will get the power, that will be giving it, that will be given by you. So that is why anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat krita krita. Whatever cause, because the cause is we have all come into this world because of the cause, because of the parents are the cause, and for the parents, some other higher power is the cause we have come here. And whatever we are doing, we are creating or not, which we are not, which we are uncreating, or which we are not doing, or which we are doing something differently. All these things are, we are the cause. But once the cause is there, we should be able to accept the effect and see, how best, we can see that the effect doesn't affect you, because the effect will be there, but you will have to deal with the effect. Because no one, told us, you have done this, because of it, you will have to suffer. That is what normally people say. Not necessary. At that point of time, that appeared to be right for me, I have done it. Not necessary, because we have to always remember two words. Every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. It is not that every time, something has happened, you should not have done that. It's not the one-time option. You will have to, life is evolving. So every time I do a mistake, I will be able to come back. So many people have done a mistake. And so many people have done a mistake and they have come from, because they have, the Olympian heights, they have been destined to go down, in the depth. And finally, they have again come back with that, vigor, and they have got the indefatigable, the energy to come back, the will to come back, the effort to come back. That is there. The effort, will, and everything that comes. And without, because by trying to constantly doing that, not bogged down by the effect of what is happening, that is adhyatma. That you will get only when you have, because when you say harsha sukha, when you should not be feeling highly elated, not depressed, that comes, because you do it as a matter of as it comes. Life is offering you so many things. When it comes as a flow, you are going with the flow. So if you are stopping at that point of time, brooding about particular instance, you are making a check dam around you, and the water will be getting withered. If a running water will always have energy, it will carry with it, the best part of the energy that the earth offers and the air offers, as well as the cosmos offers. Not only it offers, it gathers with it, everything and goes. That is why, the river flow in Drishtanta, what they like Nadi Drishtanta, what they call it, you should be going with the flow. When you are able to accept and go with, as the life flows like a river, that is adhyatma. You will not be stand still at some point of time, brooding about something or elated about something that has happened. That's not going to be, that is at that point of time. You do not know, what is going to be something else, but you will have to excel in every moment where you are doing. When you have got the best of the things, you should be able to take it, because as it is, without not getting bogged down by it, and because that will dissipate your efforts, that will dissipate your excellence, your skill, what you have gathered. In order to continue that, the same skill, that's what anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat krita kritat, anyatra bhutat bhavishyat. Bhutat bhavishyat in the sense, neither the past nor the future. So that is present, right in the present. And even the present, you need his grace, bhavyacha. Yet pashyati tadvada, that is what when he says what you are doing, that to do that, to be in the present and do everything at that moment, irrespective of the effect, whether it is a phenomenal good effect or it is something, because undesirable and it is going to cause you a lot of hardship. In spite of it, you should be able to withstand both. That will be coming. You tell me that power, who is going to give me the going to give me that energy by which I will be abiding all through. That is what, in Nachiketas. In fact, this is what, everywhere in the Gita as well as the Upanishad, everywhere it is. See, in Krishna also says, because when you take a water, because this is a 7th chapter, 8th mantra is there in Bhagavad Gita. It's 7th chapter, 8th mantra, he simply gives the same concept, what is being discussed about. See, what he says is, you take a water. Water does have a taste. But water doesn't. Because what is the taste of the water? Will you be able to explain it as a water? We know it's not a salt water, but it is a potable water which we can enjoy. The quality of the water we enjoy, you are able to quench your thirst. Krishna Vicheta, when you are able to do that, he gives you that power and he is that power. You will not be able to perceive him beyond that. It is like that. And whenever you face any hardship, when he gives the wherewithal to gather yourself and fight back and think over, find a solution, go about it, that's what it is. So this comes when you are able to take a refuge. When you are able to take a refuge in the sense, you always make him a partner in all your successes and failures and the normal ongoing. That means, you have to be, you cannot take, the me and I, will slowly go off, because you will not think something happens. Look, I did it at that point of time. So then once you do it, you will not be able to take the failure, because the same person, who is just is just basking in his glory, he will not be able to take, even a small slip down. You will not be able to take. Then, it becomes, then you don't have any adhyatma. This keeps you in fine balance. In the fine balance, when you are there, you are able to always do this. Because this is what exactly he has asked. And you tell me which is the power which is telling me. He knows that. So who is that, who in the sense, he is telling who is beyond the righteousness and the non-righteousness, who is beyond the cause and effect, who is beyond the past and future. Who is that? What is that you are telling me? That power is the one. It is in the implicit answer. But who is that power? He is asking. Almost the answer is known, but to know exactly what is this answer, the next mantra is going to about in 1.2.15. This is the mantra in your page 52 of your document. You can see Sarvaveta yat padam amananti tapasvi sarvani cha yat vadanti. Sarvaveda yat padam amananti. See, all the Vedas in the sense, because Vedas are supposed to have in Sanatana Dharma, in the entire Indian philosophy, the first primordial syllable that would have come, even when nothing was there, was the vibration Om. This is the primordial vibration which comes from there only. The Vyahritis, what we call the Gayatri has come. Om Bhurbhuva Suvaha, that Om Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, and all those things, Vyahritis have come. From there, the entire sort of, the reason for creation of all the things comes from. In fact, Gayatri is the Mula mantra. From there only Vedas have emanated. So when Gayatri has come, the 24 letters, Gayatri has got a chandas which is 24 letters, which is of 8 letters each. 3 pada. Om Bhurbhuva Suvaha Tat Savitu Varenyam Padgo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyayonaha Prachodayat. It will be 4 into 6 also, 3 into 8. But normally the Vyahritis are considered to be 8 and 24 letters. That makes the entire Gayatri. In fact, there is another connotation of Gayatri also. In Valmiki Ramayana, there are 24,000 slokas, mantras. Every 1,000 slokas, when the first letter is there, you take it and assemble, it becomes the Gayatri. So Valmiki is the one, when he's killed all the Kavi, because he's the one who gave the entire Valmiki Ramayana. From there, the Gayatri is embedded into that. And from Vedas have come, and from Vedas, Upanishads have come. Subsequently, these are all the Aupurushyas. No authorship. Afterwards, Itihasas, Puranas have come. They had authorship, because in order to sort of bring in the concepts of Veda and the Upanishad, all these Puranas have been brought, with illustrative stories as well as anecdotes. That's how it comes, and they become the part of, so that everyone will be able to appreciate at a level, when we are still to get into the Adhyatma. Once you get into the Adhyatma, slowly you will get in, and then you will be able to face, irrespective of you being the cause, or you are the cause for something like that, you will be able to face the effect of it without any demur. You will not be able to take anything, because you will not always be brooding over it, nor will not be gloating over it. Both will not be there. This is exactly, very often, our life, if you see, sometimes, we are able to count, one or few successes, which might have happened. Then we wallow in that past. And sometimes, one or two failures that might have taken place. We don't even, because look into that, because as if, it is something unwanted has happened. But every experience is a good experience as long as you are able to learn. The Adhyatma is ability to learn from everything that is happening to us, even from the effect which is not sort of which is not pleasurable to us, which is obstructive to our path of progress. Even that, if you are able to get the lesson out of that and inculcate in your attitude, thought, and action, that is Sadhyatma. That is exactly, he's talking Sarva Veda Yet Padam Ananti. Because what is Yet Padam Amananti? In the sense, all the Vedas are pointing out to one great one, which is beyond the cause and effect. One is beyond the righteous and the not righteous. One is beyond the past and future. What is that? Tapamsi sarvaniche yat padanti. Whoever tapamsi in the sense, whoever is doing, all this penance. In the sense, doing your duty is a penance. All of us are doing, whatever our duty, without any sort of a expectation you have to do, and because you are doing lovingly, with care and attention, what you need to do. If you do it, that is tapas. Because after all, it is tapas is not that you will have to go sit there and do anything. No, anything you are doing with the full-fledged attention for the benefit of or the benefit of those people who are going to get your family outside or everyone, that is a tapas. Tapansi sarvani chayat vadanti. Who are all the one who are doing penance, even the great rishis or anyone, whoever is doing, who are the one who is telling, who is that great power. He's not giving, he's all giving all indirect references to what is that power. Then next line he says, Yat ichato brahmacharyam charanti. In the sense, Yat ichato brahmacharyam charanti, to get that particular knowledge. Who are all the one who is doing brahmacharya? See, brahmacharyam, it's not always celibacy, because celibacy is when you are in the particular, dhyayana, and when you are having, some secluded life, you are working on that slowly. That is brahmacharya. And even otherwise, in the sort of family life also, people could have had the opportunity to have brahmacharyam in the sense. When we are within the rules of the regulations of the, because even the wedding is called Vivaha Yajna. It's not something, it's not, other than the penance. It is a penance because you are going to share, all your comforts as well as sorrows, as well as, the gains and losses, as well as, your lack of thought or your growing or everything with the person, with that. And because both of us, you are going to share, and the sharing is going to be a sort of a sacred sharing. That's why it is called Vivaha Yajna. So that is why when the great people who have sort of having a recluded life, who renounced everything, their one of the greatest duty is to see there is an order in family, in the society, because they will have to have. That's why you may find the samuhik, the vivah that takes place, thousands of marriages they are doing. If you get it done, it's a great sort of a duty, you have to perform, and it's a sort of a great effort, one has to do. It is supposed to be a great, action for anyone, who is in the Adhyatma. It is like that. In the sense, that is what it is. But subsequently, it transforms into different thing, because of the people's, attitude, and that is different. But that is also, because you cannot call it, it's not a brahmacharyam and all, but still, you are able to give your best. Being in the societal and family life also, that is brahmacharya. And here I would like to bring one thing, because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Sharada Devi, we know, both of them they were great, they made for each other spiritual couple. And they were asking, because how come, you have not raised a family, and, why you are both a husband and wife, it is not that, because if you are there, why are you not doing it? Why should we do it? Not necessary. Because if you see some of the Brahma Kumaris, I think people who know about it, the couple, they are following, they are celibate, because they are having a life like that, because maybe they have got, some sort of a spiritual elevation, because they seem to have felt, and that's what it is. He said, look, you don't look the other person as something. When Sarada Mata was asked, why you are not raised a family and all, she said she kept quiet. And when the same Shishya, when he was she was narrating a story. When Parvati was having a talk with Parameshwara in Kailasha, the young Karthik, he was just to scratch the cat, it seems. When he scratched the cat, Suddenly, the cat, had a small mark on that. He didn't do anything. It went off its own way. After that, he said, because look, what you have done. Karthik said, no, I have not done anything. It's a cat, I just, it was a pet, I just thought to scratch. Then he found a scratch on the Parvati's face. She said, every being, because because we are all part of every being. There is no otherness. So when it is there, how can you have the scratch on it? Because if you have a scratch on the cat, it is as good as on mine. So the brahmacharyam, in the sense, when you have a feeling, when you have the dignity, when you give the respect, and when you have the same nobility, and you are treating the other life also, other beings also as you, that is called brahmacharya. Brahmacharyam is not that, because you have renounced the life. It's okay. You renounce the life, you can take up that life, renounce life, and you continue that for Adhyatma, Veda Adhyayana. Because they said Brahmacharyam is essential, then only you will be able to get the entire, because the knowledge of Veda Upanishad for 12 years, you have to observe that, because that's what there in the earlier years. So it is like that. Brahmacharyam is your ability to see yourself as the other person in others. Once you do that, because that is the highest quality, brahmacharya. Because that is, that you don't differentiate between you or anyone, and then, the likes, dislikes, nothing comes. Everything vanishes. That is what Ichchato brahmacharya, because once you are able to see, that means you are beyond body, mind, and intellect, likes and dislikes, passions, wants, everything and all. Charanti, brahmacharyam charanti, when you are doing that type of, when you are having that type of an attitude in this world, Tate yad om sangrahena bravim om itetat. Because what is that which is beyond all these things is primordial syllable om. Charanti tate yadvam sangrahena bravim om itetat. Because it is transcending all the three, bhutam, bhavishya, cause and effect. And it's also righteous, non-righteous, beyond everything and all. It is beyond everything in the sense it is pristine, pure. It has got nothing to do with it, because Om is so sort of a sacrosanct. Because that we will also see, that how Ma, because and the Nada, the four letters that make Om, how great they are, because one Upanishad is explaining the entire thing on that. That Mandukya Upanishad, what we have seen is that only. And that is what is it, that Om is that one, this finally beyond all these things. Because that Om is what you want to call it, tapasoma, because when you say, but when you asatoma sadgamaya, when you say, so to all the ignorance, that has to go off from you. Asatoma sadgamaya, let me get the truth. Final truth is embellished, enunciated by this pranava Om. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, because when the darkness has to be dispelled, with the full blind, with the light, the enlightenment, what you call, when you will not be having, anything of, you will be able to see every being, in other, there is no otherness, you are able to see everything and all. You are able to give the same respect and dignity to every other creatures. That becomes Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. Once you have gone about that, you have transcended Mrityoma. You are this body, mind, and intellect. You've gone beyond that. Mrityo, Amritam. Amritam Gamaya, that is highest. The knowledge, what you would have got. Turiya stage, what we call it in Mandukya Upanishad. That is where you will not be having any of this, all the three, because the waking stage, you have got an attitude. In dream stage, you have got an attitude. But everything is created by the highest power. Whether you call it consciousness or the primordial power or the Paramatma, Vishnu, or what it is caused by that. And Sushuptasthana, all the four that happen, all the three that gives it. But once you go to Turiya stage, it is beyond all the three. And that is why, because when the Turiya stage, when you go beyond all the three, you are into the elevated stage where nothing will matter. Because here you will have three gunas, what is called Satvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa. Three gunas will be there. That is there with all of us. But during the course of the day, sometimes we may be Satvik, Sometimes we may be rajasic, sometimes we may be tamasic. Maybe, because this happens, depending upon the mood. I may not be able to get up from my bed in the morning, because still I would like to sleep. That is tamasic. Because, that at that point of time, the mind is, I am not most, because the stage in which I can't do anything properly. Even the thing which is very familiar to me, where I am not in the exact finest skill, I will not be able to execute it. That is tamasic. Rajasic is, when you be able to skillfully and deal with this world and do it. That is the Rajasic one. Sattvic is when you are able to see only the positivity around all over the world. Positivity in the positive psychology is the psychology itself. There is a book called Flow. I think that book Flow is written by one great. I will talk about that book next week. By a great, the psychologist, from Chicago, Illinois. He wrote that book. He is basically from a sort of, during the Second World War, he was being, they were all suffered, and from there, he got the psychology. He has seen people, how they have become psychologically affected during the war. After seeing that, he created that positive psychology, and it is a book called Flow is there. Flow is try to look into the positive side of the things and try to work on that. For instance, how you will be able to do it. If you've got an ambition of writing, if you've got a skill of writing, if you've got a skill of music, if you are able to play some instrument, or if you are able to work on some the fine arts, or even anything else, you do it. You are able to get into and lost into that. Get into, and then you are not able to come back. You are so lost into that. Even for a mathematician, you are getting into some problems, some algorithms you are trying to work on. You find so much of a pleasure out of that. You are simply lost into that. It is a chain. It takes you one after the other. That is the flow. In that flow, if you go there, you are lost, what is happening around. You are into the present. You are not bothered about, because what did you do yesterday, or what you are going to do 10 days hence, or, what you are going to get out of what you are doing. You are not going to expect anything out. When you are working on a problem and you are trying to solve that, the satisfaction what you are getting, it is beyond everything. That satisfaction is nothing but the divine grace. It is the divinity in us. That is that Om, he says. Om is not something simply syllable that comes in, everywhere and all. All the mantras start with Om, mainly because it has come from there. Once you pronounce Ah, Om, Ma, even your tongue, undergoes a change. Ah, when you say, you open the mouth. Woo, when you say, your tongue, just rolls back into the mouth. And woo, when you say, it folds and comes out. And the yim, when you say, both the lips close. In the sense, it is the closing of the entire thing, so that, you are closing your interaction with all your effect of your thoughts. When you say, because the cause and effect, the effect of your thoughts are the reason for the cause. And the effect is what you are, because what you thought and what you do out of that, the thought is the first thing. The perception comes, that is pradibodha vititam, because that's what, in one of the Upanishad, pradibodha vititam matam amritam tham vindati. Once you are having a positive attitude, whatever your perception and thoughts will come, they will flow only in a positive way. They will always give you a positive flow. Positive flow in the sense, others may think, you've got a problem, but you will not be bothered about it. You are happy with it. Supposing, if you are not taking food and you are working on something, for 5 hours, people think, this man is mad, he's no, but you may be enjoying that. What if others think? But as long as you enjoy, as long as you do, pratibodha vititam amrtatamya vindate, atmana vindate viryam, vidyaya vindate amrtam. Atmana vindate viryam, in the sense, once you are getting lost into an activity which is going to be so great and so good for you, and you like it, and you are giving entire thing into the present, without bothering anything about the future or past, cause or effect and all. That is the highest divinity what we can give. That gives when you are having that pranava, when you are able to listen to that, when it gets into your mind, it does pranava. Om is not normally done by the mouth alone. It comes from the nabi. From the nabi, because in Swadhisthana it comes. When it comes, it flows through, because it has got the 4 stages, because that metamorphosizing itself, as coming into the womb. When it comes, it entirely sort of energizes your body, and the entire being, is being energized. In some of us, who might be knowing the yoga, there is something called Brahmari, because the Brahmari is nothing but, close your ears and close your eyes. Just, because from the Nabi, you try to tell Om. Om pervades every part of your body, and it reverberates. And you will feel, because that some flow, some energy that is, flowing into your body like that. So once you have that, because what happens is the pranendriyas, what is called prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, what we call the pranendriyas, because the life force which is going in the form of a breath into you, it takes the life energy with you. As long as the breath is there, we are all the living beings. When it goes there, when it converts into the prana, apana, in the sense, it is able to distribute and to make, the entire lungs work and send, the energy to all parts of the body. Udana, because, it also takes, the entire thing up and takes out, all the toxic out. And it also helps the digestive system, the gut. Because without that, your digesting system will not be. And then finally, because it also, the throughout the whatever unwanted things are there, that is the function of this entire breath. That is why, because Vayu is always considered to be the one, who is doing everything at the command of the Brahman. That's why, because in the Tattvavada they say Vayu is Jivottama. In the entire all the jivas, he is the highest. And Vayu Jivottama, Hari Sarvottama. That's what they call it. And he is the one, because he comes. Hari also comes into the body. The life energy comes through the air one. The Vayu takes you into the body, and he gives, the energy to the body as long as it is desired to be here. As long as you're destined to be here, it is there. So when that comes, because all this body, mind, and intellect that goes, finds the coherence, the brain coherence and the emotional coherence, they come together and all. You are able to get the divinity. Divinity is the excelling everything with whatever skill you gathered and whatever energy, you could put into, without any infantile inferiority. That will be pristine, pure, excellent product. So once we are doing that, because we will be able to offer only the best, whatever we are doing, whether we are working or whether we are doing some manual job or whether we are doing something for ourselves. And at the same time, you will have to continuously be engaging in doing the things. You cannot be, look, I have done, because engaging, doing the things in whatever you are capable of, whatever your body allows, whatever, you are in the circumstances in which you will be able to do it. Not that. So you will have to do, there is one of the Istavasha Upanishadam, we have got one mantra which says, you will have to, because do the duty without fail. Why you will have to do it? Like Krishna Vichetal. Whenever you want to drink water, you don't hesitate. Immediately you go and drink water. Likewise, when something duty is ordained or when you have to do something, don't postpone. Immediately do it. Whatever is within your ability, whatever is in your command and control. Don't desist from doing it. You should do it. You should not procrastinate. That's what it says. And this is the power of the Om, he says. And the next 2-3 mantras are going to elaborate on Om only. So when we are going to elaborate on Om, we will be touching part of the Mandukya Upanishad, which we have covered earlier, and as well as in a few of the verses of Gita. Because the Om is going to be a very, very important element. And finally, the answer, as if, it is appears, Nachiketa has been given the answer, whether there is a life after the soul, whether there is the soul is there, after the body has gone, life after the death of the body, demise of the body. Yes, there is a soul. It is there. And what is that? Because different philosophies are telling that we will be seeing. Some say the soul is still being controlled, and some soul is still in the control of the primordial power. And finally, when you get the liberation, that goes off. Whereas some others say, because the soul still carry the consciousness. But that consciousness, finally goes, even that also goes off when you get liberated. Because you don't need any more consciousness. The consciousness is like a shaft of a light in the dark room. So when you see a dark room, you will not be able to see, all the dust particles. But if a shaft of light is there, you will be able to see the dust particles. The thoughts are like that. So when the shaft of light comes, that is the consciousness. And when it lights, you can't become a light, but you will be able to see the dust particles, that is thoughts. So we will be able to know the thoughts, and because we will be able to, with the power of our continuous, the journey of Dhyatma, we will be able to discriminate and do the right thing. But we may not be able to become, the consciousness per se, because consciousness will be lighting up till such time you have got a thought and work on the thoughts. Once you don't have a thought will not be there when you don't have a desire. So when you don't, because if the thought will be there as long as you have a desire, that unfulfilled desires are there, you will have a thought. So once you feel that, once you come to a stage when there is no more desires and that is going to affect you, then there is not going to be any more thoughts, and it is not going to affect you anyway at all. And finally, all these things is encompassed in the sort of a meditation with you. The Om meditation, what we are doing every day, is when the Om gets into, it takes you out and it straight away goes into your heart chakra, and it also enables your the reverberations in your mind. So like Brahmari, what we do in yoga, it calls, and once you focus on your breath and with the Om chanting and all, that gives you the balance of thoughts. Slowly, these thoughts, eliminates. Sometimes people say, it will be a sort of a vacuum and all. It may not be a vacuum, and it is not that you will not be a thoughtless stage as long as the body is there. But only thing is, you will be discarding the thoughts which are unwanted. You will not be something, which will not be bothering, and a lot of unwanted thoughts that is bothering us. You will not just will go by, because you will not be giving any attention to that. The attention, what works for you, what is good for you, that only. Then you become a Shreya. It is not a thoughtless stage, but it is identifying the discarding the thoughts. That will automatically be done by your intellect once you train into the Adhyatma. For that, Om is essential. That is what this mantra in essential says. And we will see the rest of the mantras maybe next week. And I had lined up a few of the meditation. That also, because of the time, we will take it up next week. With this, I will try to close today's session, though it is a disjointed and sort of there was a technical glitch. So with this, I will try to conclude. Sahana vavatu, sahana bunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahaihi, tejasvinavadidamastu ma vishvidavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. See you next week.
Okay. Sir, 1 second. Last week, one sutta you said, na? Apoishta Maya Bhava. So that link, can you please send it?
Sure, I will send.
Okay, thank you.
Agamanishad. I will send the link. I will send the link, and I will put it in the WhatsApp. So those who want here and it is really to clean the body, mind, and soul. Yeah. And in fact, it is we ourselves do it. We don't consciously give attention to that. Those who are doing, the everyday ritual, it is a part of it. And in all the temples, whenever they are doing the Abhishekam, this is a mantra that is recited. It is to not only cleanse the body, mind, and soul of the person who is doing, everyone, those who come and surrounding. I'll send the link to that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sorry for the disturbance. Next week we will see. We should be
no problem. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.